problem is that you have to go after the racist people. And if the CEO goes, you know what, I'm not going to allow a woman on my show or man that will go after white America and talk about them like dogs. That doesn't represent our ideals or values for anyone. And get rid of those people, and this will clear up real quick. So do you have to actually look in the mirror and clean up your own backyard and get the racist people out? Because that's who you allowed in. You allowed black racists on TV who could just go all day and say anything about white people. And I guess lo and behold, they forgot that there's a lot of people at home, white people at home during the day that are not watching your show anymore. So just clean it up.
With its ridiculous leftist beliefs, anti-Trump agenda, and never-ending foolishness, The View has been a complete train wreck for eons. People are now fed up.
You said tempers reached a boiling point backstage at The View between Whoopi Goldberg and TV judge Jeanine Pirro.
Republican presidential candidate Tim Scott facing some of his harshest liberal media critics head on.
Not going very well for the ladies at The View. Whoopi Goldberg reportedly threatening to quit after getting suspended from the show for 2 weeks over her comment about the Holocaust. Whoopi's co-hosts are said to be furious with the decision. Here's how the show, very briefly.
Tyrus, a political analyst and former professional wrestler, did more than merely retort to Whoopi Goldberg and the circus at The View. He set them on fire. The hosts of The View have made the program into a never-ending source of controversy since its debut. They have repeatedly stepped over the line and managed to get away with it. Consider the case of Whoopi Goldberg. Her remarks regarding the Holocaust were startlingly racist.
About race. It's not about race.
What is it about?
Because it's about man's inhumanity to man.
She was momentarily suspended as a result of the intense criticism. Naturally, though, the network gave in and brought her back as if nothing had occurred.
News overnight, The View co-host Whoopi Goldberg suspended for 2 weeks for her comments about the Holocaust.
On a chat show on Fox News, Tyrus confronted this issue head-on and revealed the situation surrounding Whoopi and her co-hosts at The View. His remarks were incredibly incisive, and I promise they will leave you speechless.
Stations with people you're not comfortable with. Right. And what we saw on that show was Whoopi was going down, her own personal beliefs were coming out, and her peers said she's hanging herself. Let's enjoy the fire.
Really? You think that?
Bayar said, ask her a question again to get her to repeat it. Then you saw when your friend has been suspended, she's gone, okay?
Next up is Sunny Hostin, who publicly disparaged millions of white women for simply choosing to vote Republican.
It's also surprising to me is the abortion issue. I read a poll just yesterday that white Republican suburban women are now going to vote Republican.
Why?
It's almost like roaches voting for Raid, right? It's like they're voting against their own self-interest. Do they want to live in Gilead?
Okay, so do we love democracy or not? Because just saying that.
And Joy Behar, who has essentially made a living by spewing ignorant, divisive nonsense. Her recent attacks on Speaker Caroline Leavitt sounded like a caricature of left-wing frenzy because they were so absurd.
Clarify, she's probably been put in there because according to Donald Trump, she's a 10. You know that's what it is.
I want to be clear, though, it's not her first job. It was her first press briefing. She worked in the previous Trump administration.
This is the first time that she's been.
A talk program is not what this is. It's a full-fledged circus of liberal privilege, where cheap shots, delusions, and insane outbursts are disguised as daring critique. But now, vocal, shrewd, and fearless individuals like Tyrus are taking a stand and exposing it for what it truly is. They will no longer remain silent because they have had enough of the arrogant hypocrisy. Tyrus joined presenter Greg Gutfeld and the other panelists on November 15, 2024, to discuss how Hollywood and legacy media were rushing to adapt following the 2024 presidential election.
The times are a-changin'. Jim, I'm going to give you 3 great things that are happening. The LA Times is replacing its entire editorial board to more closely reflect all opinions. After Donald Trump's landslide win, Hollywood claims it's going to be more welcoming to conservative actors and less.
It appears that some individuals still genuinely want to replace all of this woke bullshit with actual everyday entertainment. The subject of The View and their apparent interest in recruiting a Trump supporter for the show swiftly came up.
You should stop covering those rallies of his. That's my one recommendation. It just empowers him more.
That seems like a logical response to that question. I mean, come on, we're talking about social media's impact, and we jump to Trump's rally.
I jump wherever I damn please, okay? Hey, that's twice.
Let me say that. Not the topic.
But that's twice. I'm not allowed to change the subject if I want to.
I just thought we were talking about social media.
All right, so you talk about it then.
No, I'm fine.
Go ahead.
You mentioned
Here's what's happening now. We're gonna
show
keep,
ever.
girl, please stop talking. Please stop talking right now. Because you know what? What's happening?
Hold on, what? Why are they even thinking about making this change? To be honest, that doesn't sound like the panelists at all. So, it surprised the rest of us as much as it surprised the panelists. Tyrus brought up Meghan McCain during the conversation and pointed out the exact things that Whoopi Goldberg and her group of racist lefties did to her.
Not even that. In The View, you don't need to find Trumpers. You need to fire your race baiters.
Yeah.
You need to fire the two racists. You've had people. You had a McCain on there. You've had people on there before, and you ran them off. So the racist ones who want to stick to this, Whoopi and Sonny, and was it Bette Midler? What's her name? The broke-ass Bette Midler. Fire them and bring people in. Maybe you could get McCain to come back. She was a Republican, but every show and every break, she was nearly in tears because she was being attacked.
You won't believe what Tyrus disclosed. The View's mask was torn off by this complete train. Disaster, which revealed the poisonous circus it has become.
You know, Emily.
And let's face it, he had the audacity to name them. He deserves praise for not giving up. The audience responded favorably to Tyrus's criticism. But don't take my word for it. See it for yourself.
Talk a lot about these different demographics and these assumptions of where they're going to go. Latinos in Texas, a district that's 97% Latino, went 75 percentage points for Donald Trump. Why?
Misogyny.
It's on the border. The border crisis is on their doorstep. And they were begging people to care about it for years. We need to take some lessons.
That's what that was.
The lessons are not.
Knock, knock. Who's there? Oh my gosh, it's Whoopi.
Hi, Whoopi. Sorry.
Tyrus had already roasted Whoopi Goldberg and The View on live television. Following Trump's victory in the 2024 presidential election, the left went utterly crazy and descended into anarchy. The View's hosts were among the most insane, and they went completely mad in a stunning way.
All that, and the price of butter. Sonny gets the game ball. If it wasn't for her, asking that question, it might have been a closer election. But when oh no, nothing really comes to mind, I was like, ching. Listen, they're bitter, they're angry, they're entitled.
Tyrus wasn't going to tolerate this nonsense when he learned about it. He gave a vicious rebuttal during a Fox and Friends first discussion.
Also this should have been a reset for everyone who pushed lies and misinformation for the last, they called them Hitler, they call these things, America rejected them. And instead of coming back and saying, we lied, they instead are now doubling down. So let her keep doing it, because if she keeps that up, we're going to keep getting the Senate and probably the House and the White House, because people see right through your lies. So keep doing what you're doing. Game ball the Senate.
That's not all, though. Tyrus continued from there. He continued by revealing every last detail about these women. There you have it, folks. On live television, Tyrus completely destroyed Whoopi Goldberg and The View. This stuff cannot be made up. Tyrus is obviously not holding back, as evidenced by the brutal takedowns and the complete dismantling of their arguments. What are your thoughts? Was this roast the best ever? Or should Whoopi and the group just leave already?